behind a woman who burns up all my time. So I'm told I got to cut it short because Tamara went over. And then they put me behind a Baptist preacher who burned up all my enthusiasm. I don't even know why I bother. But it hasn't been that long that I've been a candidate, a politician, and so I think it's starting to come back. How many have heard of Hillsdale College? You in Primus, maybe heard of that? Joy, my wife, is back there, that attractive lady with the distinguished gray hair. I've decided to go back to school. I want to go back to college again, and I want to go to Hillsdale because they don't accept any federal money. And I think I could learn something. I think it was a week ago today that the president of that college, Dr. Larry Arnn, gave a speech down in Dallas entitled "The Rebirth of Freedom and Liberty," or something like that, right, Brad? That was about a 50-minute speech, and in the course of his remarks, he talked about the crisis facing the family. It referred generally to the crisis of the breakdown of the family, particularly the breakdown of marriage, and the impact that that has had and is continuing to have on society today, especially children. But he said that's not the crisis that's facing the family. The crisis is in the definition of family. That, believe it or not, that's the crisis we're dealing with. At the family leader, we don't have a problem with that definition. In fact, at the family leader, there is only marriage. We avoid using any descriptive terms or types or definitions. There is marriage. It speaks for itself. We know exactly what it is. If you are not sure, if you were here this morning and you were confused as to the definition of marriage, I would suggest you call your grandmother. She may have only gone through the 8th grade, but she will help you get squared away on the definition of marriage. As the son of a mother who has been divorced and remarried 3 times, I can personally attest to how important it is for children to be raised in the home of a mother and a father married to each other. I will never know what that was like, and I'm not too unusual in that regard. Just about every problem facing society today could be fixed, eliminated, or significantly reduced if we held up marriage, one man and one woman, for life.
That's right.
To that end, the family leader continues to advocate for a marriage amendment that would put it in the Iowa Constitution that marriage in Iowa, without any question, is one man and one woman. That is HJR 11, House Joint Resolution 11. It's in the House Judiciary Committee. Committee chairman there is Chip Baltimore. And that bill was filed last year. It was not passed out of committee. It's still alive and eligible for debate by Chip's Representative Baltimore's committee this year and passage by the House. Now we understand that its future is not very bright in the Senate. A majority leader in the Senate, Mike Gronstal from Council Bluffs, has made it very clear that as long as he is the majority leader, it will not come before his body for a vote. We understand that. I believe it. But we're not asking members of the General Assembly to pass the bill. We're simply asking them to do what they can do. And so as you're talking to representatives and senators today, just ask them to support it. Particularly if they serve on the House Judiciary Committee, all we're asking is that they go to their committee chair, ask that the bill be brought forward, and then when it is, that they vote for it. They can do that. That is easy. They could do it yet today if they wanted to, or certainly this week. Encourage them to do that. We know that marriage works just about every time that it's tried. The mounting evidence, as if we needed any evidence or research, continues to suggest that. In fact, one observation from a study I read recently, that the vast majority of children who do not grow up in a home with a mother and a father live in poverty. And the vast majority of those who do not live in poverty. Just one example. It works every time it's tried. Unfortunately, some representatives see voting for the Iowa Marriage Amendment, HJR 11, as a bad vote. Think about that. Did you ever think there would be a time in Iowa's history where our elected legislators would think that voting for marriage, one man and one woman, would be a bad vote? Because somehow they're going to have a difficult time going back home and defending that vote. Let's encourage those members today when you visit the Capitol that to not support marriage, one man and one woman, is a bad vote. Let's encourage them that we will support them and hold them up and advocate on their behalf when they take that kind of a stand. In his remarks, Dr. Larry Arnn observed that we are faced with two choices. He said, in paraphrasing, one choice is that we recognize, well, we've had it pretty good, and it's too bad that those days are gone, and so perhaps we should just go home and give up. Forfeit the fight, admit defeat, and give it up. And he suggested another choice, that perhaps like the greatest generation before us in the last two wars for freedom, that we engage, that we fight. And not that it's a fight that has to be mean and nasty, but simply a fight that we will say, here we stand, I can do no other. In the words of Martin Luther, for me to give up would neither be safe nor right. Let's determine for ourselves that that is the case. Let us encourage our legislators that such is the case. Take a stand, advocate for marriage, support the joint resolution, ask leadership to pass it, and if it comes before you, simply vote for it. You can do that. Leave the rest of it in God's hands. Thank you for being here today and for listening.